Hello, good evening, Oral Gibbes, and welcome to Oral Gibbes Live. With me this evening, I have this lady, Dr. Gittens. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
And Dr. Gittens, the last time we had you here was on Speaking of Everything, right?
That's correct.
Now tonight is live.
That's fantastic. I'm very grateful that you will have me.
Good to have you in the program, and you are the director for SCELL, right?
Yes, sir.
That's not an oil company.
No, sir.
Tell us about SCELL. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Dr. Gittens. As you mentioned, I am the director of SCELL. I have been on the island for 2 years this past April.
Yeah.
I am a happy employee of the University of St. Martin / University of the Virgin Islands on St. Martin. We offer associate's, bachelor, and master's program. SCELL is actually the business arm of the university, and so we deal with the majority of the larger companies on the island, companies related to Telem, Gibbes, the port. We also deal with the Mental Health Foundation. We have other clients that we also deal with throughout that focus on supervisory skills like the Princess Juliana Airport and many more who have come to SCELL to receive really positive quality professional services.
Now, you said the University of the Virgin Islands?
Yes.
You worked there before?
Yes, the University of the Virgin Islands now has a MOU with the University of St. Martin. So we offer master's degrees there in education and bachelor's degrees in business. I currently teach for the business division of the University of the Virgin Islands at the University of St. Martin.
And you're originally from?
Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, I was hearing like a Barbados accent.
Well, my grandmother was from Barbados.
Oh, okay. So you lived in Barbados for a while?
No, I actually lived in Trinidad with my parents, and then my father was sponsored by his nurse, his niece, who was a nurse anesthesiologist in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And then he brought me up with him, so I was educated in Wisconsin.
Wow. So how am I hearing a Barbados accent? No one ever told you that?
Yeah, several people have told me that, but after you have lived on as many islands as I have and traveled the United States teaching, there's a lot of things, Mr. Gibbes, that you pick up on that just become a part of your natural demeanor.
All right, so you lived in St. Croix, St. Thomas for a while too?
I lived in St. Thomas for approximately 14 months.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So how are you feeling now about the SCELL program and being director of that program?
You know, first off, I love my university. I know we've been around for 25 years, and some people view us as not progressing enough. Some view us as progressing positively, but I think that we're moving right now at a very positive momentum with the leadership of our board and our very eccentric, positive, progressive President Francis Guadalupe. And so I love my job and I love what we do for the community. SCELL is really growing in leaps and bounds. We started off in August of 2016, and we now have some of the biggest clients on the island who really see the importance of professional development and also the importance of offering training that directly links to individuals going back to school to pursue their higher education.
So when it comes to training, is normally you work only with companies or also with individuals?
We work with both. We had started off with a program that was called Brain Bites that we offered on Saturdays that ran for about an hour and a half to locals who were interested in transitioning where they were educationally into going into a college level program. Once we looked at that particular program, we realized that we could reach more people in the company arena. So we kind of redirected SCELL to really focus on what companies are offering to their employees. And some of those employees were the same people that were coming on Saturday morning. And so now instead of reaching 15, we're reaching 70, 80, 175. And so it's been much more beneficial for the St. Martin community and much more beneficial for the organizations.
Now, you've also worked with the Port of St. Martin?
That's correct, yes.
Now, the average person sitting at home will say, well, what does SCELL know about the port operation? Explain.
That's an excellent question. We actually wrote a program for the port. About 79 of their employees now go through a training once a month that focuses on their core values. And so what do we know about the port? Whenever we go into any organization, we do our research. We find out what are the keys of that particular organization, what's the structure, what do they want to accomplish. So we read on their mission, their vision, and their value system. And we also meet with the managing director, like Mr. Mingo and HR, and we find out what they want to accomplish in the trainings. Then we actually customize and build that particular training or concept from scratch. And so when we go into these arenas or in the port environment, we have a relationship that we built with the employee to say, we understand what you do every day. We understand the importance of what the port is trying to portray to the individuals that come off the ships and want a St. Martin experience. And so we don't only research, we train and we connect with the St. Martin community in their job setting.
And now the airport, you work with the airport?
Yes, they are currently one of our clients.
Okay. And you do the same thing there as well.
And we do the same thing. One of the things that we also do, Mr. Gibbs, is we actually go in and do an assessment. So we actually support the organization in defining what trainings are really needed, not from an HR standpoint only, but also sitting down with the employees one-on-one and walking them through an assessment and go, what do you want to see as an employee? Do you receive enough training? Do you feel that you have an open line of communication with upper management? What are some of the things that are affecting you in your leadership and supervisory skills that we can enhance you with? That then builds a marriage between the leadership and the front lines, and then SCELL comes in and actually completes the matrimony.
Now, you also worked with TLM.
Yes, sir.
You put in fiber optic cables?
Yes. We didn't actually put them in, Mr. Gibbs. However, Helmut Ethno, the CFO of TLM, had an idea or theory that she wanted to educate more contractors on the optics transition that's going to be taking place on St. Martin. And she found that SCELL was a very viable organization to do the organization and planning. So SCELL now has expanded our services not only for training, professional development, and encouraging individuals in St. Martin for pursuing higher education at USM UVI. We have not gone into organizational planning. So if organizations want us to put on events for them, retreats, anniversaries, summer events, my staff is capable of actually doing that and doing it very successful.
So now the training with fiber optics, you brought in someone?
Yes. We brought in several different instructors from the company that is outside of Washington, and they came in because they have the technical background to deliver the training here locally. Most of the individuals that were in that training, where I count about 40 to 42, would have then had to pay for hotel, would have had to actually travel off the island to get that level of training. So to bring something to the island through the USM SCELL vehicle was really a remarkable thing to do for the contractors on this island, which shows our dedication and genuine concern to employing people on our island, with the exception of bringing outsourced individuals in.
Have you worked with St. Martin Medical Center?
We have worked with St. Martin Medical Center. Antonio Pantoflet, actually, he was our biggest client for the Brain Bites. We would have anywhere from 15 to 20 of his staff members coming over on Saturday mornings, and I am confident that he's going to be a very large participant in one of the conferences that we have planned.
The last time I had you on the other program with Dr. Guadalupe, you told us about the special program on journalism.
Yes.
How's that going?
That program is going fantastic, actually. Wendy Brown is one of our most valued faculty members. All of our faculty members are valued, but each of them come with their own skill and creativity. She's done a fantastic job, and the reason I say that is because, you know, as a pioneer in media and journalism and in all the other areas of that particular field, that retention is always the key. And so we currently have the same amount of students that we started with, sir, actually finishing the class.
That's good.
And from an academic standpoint of being in academics for now almost 25 years, I know that when you maintain students in retention, that means the instructor is good, the curriculum is good, and students are feeling engaged in the curriculum.
You have a better record than some of the top universities in the world.
There you go, and that's what we strive for.
So is it expensive to ask SCELL to come in to an organization and review the weaknesses and give advice and so forth?
Okay, you know, that is really an excellent question. We had talked about it earlier in terms of research, and I think that when you're on an island, the Caribbean is very large, but each island has its own specialty. And what we did before we started SCELL is to really research what was the price points. What did organizations really want to pay for an individual to be educated, and what were their training budgets? So the price points for are very, very viable and accepting. We have had all of our clients feel very comfortable with our price points for 3-hour trainings and 6-hour trainings. And now we've also ventured out in doing retreats for organizations where we actually go in, take them out of their environment into a beautiful hotel setting. We build the teams, we find out what some of the issues are, and then we apply that model to different departments within the organization.
Now, how do you feel about training in terms over a long period of time? Do you think companies should just train employees today, next week, and then for the next 3 or 4 years, just forget about it?
I totally disagree with that. Training is something that you have to implement and then go back and actually measure the success. So anyone who's actually delivering a training to their supervisors, frontline staff, and think that's effective, I totally disagree, and statistics show that we disagree. We need to really train and then go back and have SCELL come in, or another organization, and say, we've trained in this area, now measure the success employee by employee. And that's when you get the real effects of training, because you're able to see your dollar transition into performance and then transition into positive customer service or positive development of the professional role.
You also work with the leadership. In other words, companies or corporations can have training for the staff. Sometimes the problem is higher up.
That's very correct. And what's very interesting is what we also do when we are hired to do a pre-assessment. When we are training and the employees feel very comfortable with us, we include that kind of very loose conversations or comments that they have inside our pre-assessment. So we allow leadership to actually be able to take raw data and also improve the way they do business. Now, Mr. Gibbes, I'll be very honest with you. High-powered leadership is higher to get to than the frontline staff. Sometimes you have individuals in leadership positions that says, you know, my staff needs training, but you eloquently stated that sometimes the leaders need training. Right. So one of the things that we are trying to do now with SCELL is to peel off the layers of only putting a Band-Aid on the staff and say, we are recommending that you take a look at your entire organization and your entire structure.
Now, you have the high season 2016.
Yes.
And that starts September 9th?
September 9th through the 16th.
Tell us about that.
Okay. High season conference was something that SCELL wanted to do to help not only hospitality organizations, but every organization throughout the Caribbean. So we have started our email marketing throughout the Caribbean, anywhere from St. Lucia to St. Kitts to Guadeloupe, all the way down. And that training is an opportunity for individuals to earn their Certified Hospitality Educator certification, which is the most recognized certification throughout the world for people in hospitality or individuals that are teaching in educational institutions as it relates to hospitality. So if you're a lawyer, you pass the bar. If you're a doctor, you become a part of the medical association. If you're in hospitality versus education or in the field, the Certified Hospitality Educator is your staple of saying you understand the characteristics of excellent customer service and the characteristics of really promoting that as a leader within an organization.
Go ahead.
Okay. We then take it into sessions going from that Monday through that Friday. And we go over anything from supervisory skills, how to use Prezi, the new type of digital presentations,
Yeah.
to business writing, email etiquette, public speaking. So we offer at least 25 types of trainings within that 9th through the 16th.
25?
25 plus, 2 of which are certified.
And all of that will be done in St. Martin?
In St. Martin at the DV Resort.
So when you mentioned other islands in the Caribbean,
Yes, sir.
participants will be coming to St. Martin?
They will be coming from St. Martin. We are marketing them all. And the ALHEI, American Hotel and Lodging Association, has just appointed me as a master trainer. I think that we had talked about that when Dr. Guadalupe was here, and I thank my university for having that much confidence in me to really pursue that, because it was kind of a rigorous process.
Explain us what a master trainer is all about.
Yes, and so there's only 13 in the world, and I'm happy to say we have one at the University of St. Martin / University of the Virgin Islands. And so I'll be delivering the first one ever in St. Martin, the 9th through the 12th. So it will go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and they will take their exam on Monday.
So master trainer, give us a little idea of what it entails.
Okay, so the master trainer is an individual who has at least spent 5 years in the hospitality industry or as an educator or professional. So you have to become a CHE first.
Okay.
We did that with 2 of my colleagues.
As a certificate?
Certified hospitality educator.
Right.
And the business and hospitality division actually completed that last year. That was one of the criteria that we utilized to become accredited for BTEC, our accredited hospitality program right now, that's actually doing extremely well. And I encourage anybody who's interested in hospitality to please stop by Student Services to find out more about that program. But I say that to say we went to Antigua, and 3 of us received the Certified Hospitality Educator. And I think you know a little bit about me right now, that I'm very tenacious and very assertive. And so I sat there thinking, why can't we bring this to our people in St. Martin? And one of the things that you have always said, based on your genuinity, is that why aren't we grooming managers in our hotels that serve millions of people each year? And so with me gaining the CHE, I was in the position to apply for the Mentor Protege program. After I submitted my vita and recommendations letter, they accepted me. So I had to go to 2 tiers with master trainers who have been with the agency for over 15 to 20 years. So they weren't easy, Mr. Gibbs. I had to study the material, actually facilitate the material, and then also be monitored by them with an evaluation. So I went to Jamaica several weeks ago, and we just received notification, which I shared with you 2 weeks ago, that they had actually appointed me by the American Hotel and Lodging Association as a master trainer, 13 globally in the world. So not only will I be giving the CHE on St. Martin for the first time in history, I will also be training throughout North America and the Caribbean on behalf of the University of St. Martin.
Now, in the training, did you have to go and work in a resort, hotel during that time?
It didn't require that, but one thing that I haven't shared with you is that when I was in St. Thomas, I took a sabbatical from education.
Okay.
And I actually worked in a resort in St. Thomas. It is now the Sugar Bay Resort and Spa, and it was once a Wyndham. And I worked there in several roles. As a front desk manager temporarily, I also worked as the guest services manager, and then was promoted in 6 months to the director of guest experience, where I managed 7 different departments.
Oh, okay.
And so I have firsthand experience in hospitality, and I also am mentored by one of the greatest managing directors in hospitality, Kashmi Ali, who is running a 5-star resort out of St. Lucia, currently now in the Bahamas, who has taken me under his wing. And so every 3 months of the year, every 3 weeks of the year, I am able to go down to one of his facilities and go back into the field.
I gotta ask you a question.
Yes.
On this answer.
Yes.
This one. You have Marriott, you have Four Seasons, you have Ritz-Carlton. Which hotel is your favorite?
I would say it's the Ritz-Carlton.
I expected that answer.
You did?
I did. If you had said another hotel, I would have disqualified you.
Okay, and that would have been a big shame. I would have been very disappointed in myself.
I just put it there, but really, the Ritz-Carlton,
Yes.
it's amazing the service that they give to everyone that walked through the door. You know, it's just amazing. I haven't not seen another hotel like the Ritz-Carlton.
It's consistent.
Yeah.
And I think that's what hospitality is. It's about treating every guest the same way. And I think oftentimes when you're in the hospitality business, you try to look at how the person looks or what their briefcase looks like or what their luggage looks like. And the bottom line, Mr. Gibbes, is you've said it best. Every single person that works through that door needs to be treated the same way. Yeah. And the other thing that I like about their philosophy is they walk around with their core values in their pocket. And if a manager comes up to them and they can't repeat that, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And so those individuals have bought in to the vision and the mission of that organization. And I think that you would agree with me. That is why hospitality really needs to be very careful, because those individuals come through the human resources door. And human resources has an obligation and a commitment to that particular organization. It's not one of the best of the three that aren't great. It's the best one of the three that all are great. Yeah. And then that individual carries the torch for you of being an exceptional organization and a role model within that organization.
Do you think we can achieve that on this island?
Yeah. I don't think. I know. I think that everything has its time where things are mediocre. But I think that with SCELL USM coming up with programs and conferences like Getting Ready for the High Season, that says it all. The majority of our socioeconomic is based on tourism. That means that every single person in every single hotel, whether you're a part of SMTA or not a part of it, must operate at a level of excellence. So I should have full seats at this conference. I shouldn't have one seat open.
But you know, when I said, I think it was phrased wrong. The reason I say that is back in the 1970s, I worked at Mullet Bay, and I was a busboy in the gourmet restaurant.
Wow.
The restaurant was the best in the Caribbean. We had a celebrity section where we had a captain, a waiter, and a busboy, and all the celebrities were handled by us. And it's amazing the service we used to give. And people watching this program tonight that worked at Mullet Bay can tell you, it was superb service. Today now, when I go out in St. Martin, it's no longer there. So I hope with SCELL can help to bring back the kind of service we used to have in the hospitality sector in St. Martin back in the 70s and 80s. Kind of wishful thinking.
Yes. But I've always admired you for what you have done in terms of educating people on this island. And you know that whenever you give me a challenge, I always try to surpass that challenge. But I will tell you, Mr. Gibbes, in all due respect to you, it's more than hospitality for SCELL. I can give you an experience that I had today, and I won't say the particular agency, but I walked into a facility in our tourist district of St. Martin, and I purchased a couple of items. And as I was concluding the transaction, the individual looked at me and says, "Would you like a bag?" And I said yes. And then they looked over at the bag and, in other words, projected that I should put my own items in my own bag. In our highest tourist area.
Yeah, that's this.
And so when you speak of hospitality and your wonderful experience at Mullet Bay, an iconic hotel on this island, I think that it goes deeper in the thread of that woven blanket. It goes now that we have to be careful, not only how we greet people at the front desk, but when that tourist leaves the front desk, and is having an ailment and needs a gas tablet or an aspirin, how are individuals in the surrounding businesses treating the guests who had a wonderful experience at the hotel, but now is drifted a little further out of the hotel? What is that mark? I have done some research with the U.S. News report as well as TripAdvisor, and I have to tell you where we rank in terms of the most island destinations, we're number 8. And what comes to mind for me is that doesn't mean we don't do a remarkable job on the cruise ships. But the cruise ships are only here for a short period of time. They only get a glimpse of what St. Martin is all about. Right. But what that does say to me is that what is St. Lucia doing that we're not doing? And what is Cayman Islands doing where they fall number 5 or number 4? I want St. Martin to be number 1. I want people to go back and say, that is the number 1 destination.
Well, you know, when I worked in the hotel industry, service was service.
That's correct.
There was no feeling of inferiority, no feeling of anger towards the guest. Mm-hmm. You went to work happy, and you were happy to serve. Yes. Today now, a lot of people are going to work, but they're not happy. They feel, for whatever reason, that they're serving people, and it's a menial job, etc. Yes. And it makes a big difference. And there are other factors involved there. So it becomes very difficult. Yes. And for SCELL, you look at all these factors, the individual, the company's help to fix those issues.
Mr. Gibbes, you just made a remarkable point, because when we go in to train, one of the things that my specialized faculty has trained to do is to also set a strong premise or presence in the room, is that you made a choice to work for this institution. And that means that at the end of the month, when they give you your salary, you made a commitment to give them 100%. And if you're not giving them 100% because of personal issues or personal problems, then the issue stands within you. But we also have another problem, Mr. Gibbes, and that is if human resources is not holding people accountable for their actions and not giving verbal warnings and oral warnings and trying to give them training to improve, then they are just as much as fault of the customer service in which we're giving. And so I don't see training as a one aspect of development of an individual. I see that the individual needs to take accountability for accepting a job, good, bad, or different, and accepting that rate, and also accepting the responsibilities that they have to the organization to be the best employee they can be. I was reading some information several days ago, and in my research it indicated that even employees that are not the best employees don't want to work for an organization that has a bad reputation because they don't want people yelling and screaming at them. It also said that organizations run at a rapid loss of finding quality people because if individuals are not operating good and not operating professionally, the community or the patrons recognize that, and then people say, I don't want to work for them.
You know, it's amazing what you just said there. I got to bring back Muller Bay again one more time, please.
No problem.
You know, when we worked at Muller Bay, they used to call us money boys. Well, everybody wanted to work for Muller Bay.
Yes.
It was the place to work. You felt pride. You put on your uniform, you're walking down the road, you feel really good, you're happy going to work at Muller Bay. I don't see that anymore. I don't see that. So probably sometimes the problem is wider than just the individual.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned the company. You're working for a company that's good, you feel happy.
Yes.
So sometimes the problem is not just the worker, it's the company.
Right. And you know, HR is the gatekeeper. That's the individual who says, I've evaluated this person. I've asked to see if they have aspirations to go back to school. I understand the makeup of their personal scenario within reason, within HR guidelines. But this appears to be a very cheerful person. But you also have to be careful, Mr. Gibbes, that if you do not have individuals that are supporting your growth and encouraging you. And I had this funny thing that I used to do when I was on a radio show, which is toot-toot and toot-tooting you and saying, good job, well done, and engaging you in the environment, then you're not going to be happy either. You know, we've had these conversations about, you indicated that when we had made some wonderful MOUs regarding the University of St. Martin, and you were in the room, and what you foresaw in the future of what this university could be in 25 years. I agree with you, and I empathize with what has happened over the 25 years. But I go to work every day not looking at what happened with the University of St. Martin, but never feel as if I'm working. I don't have a job description. My job description is supporting my board and my president and colleagues in taking the University of St. Martin to a refreshed, revitalized Renaissance period where they can say, forget about what happened. What are they doing now to create a more revitalized image? And looking at the people that we have touched through SCELL and the people that we will continue to touch.
You know, the thing is that I also look at continuity. And the reason why, just recently, I had the director of the Milton Peters College and the
Yes.
Sundial School on the program. And I said to him, you know, too often on this island, an individual comes in at the top and there's a turnaround, a real positive turnaround. And when that person is gone, everything just goes right back again to what it was before. And that's a big problem. So when it comes to the University of St. Martin, I would love to see it continue as it is right now and really continue. But sometimes, as I mentioned, on this island, once certain players are no longer playing,
Yes.
then the game goes back to something
Right.
completely. And that's my concern.
Right. Well, without you directing that to me or my wonderful president, I would say to you that I know that he is very committed
Right.
to the university, and I am very committed, and we will do whatever we can to stay in that environment and make it prosper as long as we can. But life is not guaranteed to
Right.
anybody. But I think what I'm hearing you say is not longevity in terms of personal agendas, longevity in program sustainability.
Right.
And for that, I think that I could speak on behalf of the president. We will do, and I will continue my plight to making it a better place for the community.
High season 2016 is you're focusing not just on the hotels, right?
That's correct, sir. It is on any organization that is providing customer service.
So store in Phillipsburg and Marigold.
We've marketed the spas, the stores, the rent-a-car companies,
Okay.
the medical center. We are now working on a project with the ambulance center. We have not left anybody out. We are also going back to our files and actually focusing on individuals who have taken trainings with the bigger companies, saying that if you want to do this on your own, you're welcome to. For me, customer service is not a category. It is a decision to support a guest in enjoying the guest experience, whether that be a drugstore, a Chinese store, or a five-star resort. Customer service is how we sustain our economy in St. Martin.
What about the taxi drivers? Are they on board?
Yes, we actually sent over a special invite to Mr. Wilson over at TET,
Yeah.
and so they are all aware. I could tell you, Mr. Gibbs, we have not left any rock unturned throughout the whole of St. Martin and the entire Caribbean.
That's good because I would say St. Martin is what, 95% service industry country.
Yes.
So it's,
So our Sabre family is coming, our Stacia family is coming, St. Kitts, we have Nevis, we've marketed Barbados, St. Bart's, you name it. And every single individual on every island who is in charge of hospitality regarding government or tourism has also received our information.
so you will have participants from all those different islands?
All
Yeah.
those different islands. And we've made it very user-friendly, sir. They register online
Okay.
and they pay online.
Can you give the address if you don't
Yes,
mind?
they go to SCELL at USM online.
And then they can register
They
there.
can register there, and we have 3 very easy payment plans. For organizations that have more than 10 individuals, we give a 10% discount.
And if you're coming from abroad now, you need hotel and so forth, right?
We have done a special rate with Divi, which is going to be $99 per night plus their taxes, which we have no control over,
Right.
and they will directly call into reservations and make their own accommodations.
That's a good price.
Yes, very good price.
And what else you need to tell us about that particular program that I didn't
You know,
ask you
as I
about?
stressed before, we're offering at least 25 or more training topics that are related to customer service and hospitality. And we have 2 programs that will be done during that period. The Certified Hospitality Educator, first time in St. Martin. That is your staple of being the best hospitality educator in your field versus in a hotel or organization or in a school as an educator. And then we also have the Certified Guest Service Professional, which is another certification for frontline individuals in customer service. Both certified and will be tested on the date of the training. Those test results go back to the American Hotel and Lodging Association, and then we receive the certifications and acknowledge you or send you information whether you passed or
Can you
not.
give me a little bit more detail on those two programs?
Yes. The Certified Hospitality Educator, CHE, is known globally throughout the world. And that means if you are, as I indicated, a lawyer or a doctor, you have the bar and you have the medical association. If you are in the hospitality business, you want to have that staple of certification. What that means is they go anywhere in from how to treat a guest, what's appropriate to do with the guests, how to manage and lead your teams, what is quality customer service versus mediocre customer service. And the CHE goes for 4 days, sir. It will start off on Friday, goes to Saturday, Sunday, ends Monday with the examination, which is 100 multiple choice questions. That exam is sealed and sent back to the American Hotel and Lodging Association. That is really more focused on managers and leaders of hospitality organizations.
I was just going to ask you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the Certified Guest Service Professional are all for frontline staff, bellboys, front desk, kitchen, food and beverage, etc.
It's great.
Yes.
And the thing is that this is the first time that this type of program will be available to people in the industry here in St. Martin.
That's correct, sir.
And you know, I'm a little
I always
excited.
get scared when you start a question off laughing.
No, because why is too long we haven't had training in St. Martin.
Yes.
I think back all the time when I first went to work in the hotel, you couldn't go to work without training.
Yes.
You had to go for 2 weeks training. Today now, hotel properties just take you up like that, put you in the restaurant, put you here and there.
That is correct.
That's the reason why you say I want to say that. I'm happy to see that now the University of St. Martin is doing something that we used to do before, companies used to do before.
That's correct.
Now you're doing it. There's no area in the hospitality area that's going to be left untouched.
No, sir. We have done some raw data collection and have spoken to many individuals who have been involved in hospitality. We've sent out the list of topics, and everyone has come back with us saying you haven't missed a beat. And so we're very proud to offer those trainings to the community.
You mentioned Phillipsburg, the stores in Phillipsburg. Are you going to have a number of the stores on board in this program in September?
Yes. We have also actually marketed all the jewelry stores, clothing shops. No one has been overlooked. As I indicated, and I want to stress this training conference is for individuals, for individuals that work within organizations, as well as any company or organization that offers customer service that directly is related to our tourism sustainability.
So in other words, I'm watching this program tonight. I want to be a part of it. I can go online or contact the University of St. Martin and get involved.
Absolutely. They can call 554-2437, or they can visit SCELL at usmonline.net. We are also located at the university in room 200. So once you walk into the rotunda, you will go to the second floor. And 200, any of my assistants will be able to register them also in person.
All right. I'll take a call for you. Oral Gibbes Live. You're on caller. Hello? You're on live caller.
Yes, good evening, Earl.
Good evening, sir.
I'm calling concerning the lady, the doctor.
Dr. Gittens? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I have a question for her because I get into some friends of mine who are in hotel business, and restaurants, and so forth. When you do hire someone to work, he's being trained, he's being do all the work he's supposed to do. The manager of the restaurant or whatever do add a 15% on, and the person is trained to do a job. My question to you is, how do you feel about a tip? Because to me, a tip, it seems to me like everybody does understand exactly what it means. It is an insult to get a tip? or it's like a favor that someone do extra for the job they're supposed to be doing it from the beginning. If you go to a doctor, you don't tip a doctor for the work you do. But for a restaurant and people who have been trained to do a good job, the 15% is already added. Now, the guest himself takes an extra $15 or $20, and he gives the person. Does that mean anything to the person that collect it, or that doesn't mean anything to the person that give it? To me, it's basically the guy himself, because I already got paid for what I'm supposed to do. I already get a good service. So what this person giving me $20 extra for? That's all of my discussion I have here. I'd like to get your opinion about that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You understand?
I understand. I think that a tip for many people, more than none, see a tip as a way of saying, I really appreciated you going the extra mile. And here's my little way in my experience of letting you know that. I also agree with the caller in saying that the tip is already a part of my salary, and the organization has hired me to offer a service. I think that some individuals that are working in those environments appreciate the tip to supplement their salary, and I think that it is really the choice of the individual issuing the tip in terms of saying, here's my level of appreciation. How the receiving person takes that on is their own prerogative. He's very ethical and very reasonable in saying, I've already gotten paid. I don't need to get something extra. But everybody has their own opinion on how they deal with it. So I would salute him for giving excellent service and questioning what he's getting. But I will also salute the person who's working hard, that may have multiple children and expenses, who says, you know what, that extra bit of what that individual offered me is helping me send my child to college, or maybe buy them some additional things that they need in their school secondary education.
You know, it's also a cultural thing. There are some cultures that you will offend a person by giving them a tip.
Yes, correct.
In the United States, it's just the opposite.
They love tips.
You'll offend them if you don't give them a tip.
Absolutely. That's very correct. And so I think that you just need to know your culture and understand the do's and the don'ts of your culture. But I don't think anybody should feel less than if they accept the gratuity of an individual that feels as if they want to go the extra mile for that person.
And I think too, you know, because I worked as a waiter, I can understand how waiters feel.
Yes.
And that's why when I travel, or even when I go to a restaurant locally,
Yes.
I feel obligated to tip. Even when there's a service charge on the menu, I feel obligated to, because I know how myself and other colleagues felt during the years when we worked as waiters, busboys, captains in restaurants.
Right.
Yes, it was 15% tip.
Yeah.
But it was still expected that we gave such a great service that
Yes.
we expected to give something extra.
Yes.
You know, so
You know what that whole philosophy is? When you walk the walk, you know what the walk feels like.
exactly. So Dr. Gittens, you have how many months? 5 months before the big event?
Big event, yes.
Wow. So, and you're excited about it. Everyone is ready, waiting for the big season 2016.
Yes, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the university and the opportunity they've given me to put this on. And I'm more excited for the community. I'm excited that we have this capital now, SCELL, this capital training center that comes up with all these innovative ideas to really grow and groom our community for our jobs, in the high-paying jobs as well as the low-paying jobs. But it's our people having an opportunity to really succeed in our environments.
And it gives you a chance to improve yourself, go back for additional training, etc.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
I'm taking a call for you. Oral Gibbes live and call. Hello?
Yes.
You're on live call.
I am in agreement with Dr. Gittens that a tip is essential. There is nothing wrong with the tip, really. It comes in appreciation. And why shouldn't people appreciate other people?
Okay.
We all are human beings. Thank you, Dr. Gittens.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And that's so important. And I heard a guy said once that you should never tip a person less than $2. He was referring to when you go at the hotel, and the bellman opened the door for a taxi for you.
Yeah.
Don't give him $1. $2 and
The minimum.
Yes, right. And I think that person was right in the minute. Giving the person $1. I've seen people left a tip 25 cents. That's an insult, you know.
It is. It
So-
really is. And I totally agree with Mr. Gibbes that that is normal protocol. But I also say, and I'm fair, is that we just don't live in St. Martin. We live in a big global world right now. And it's important for us to stay attuned to what is appropriate regarding $2 in France or Europe versus in South America or in South Africa. Maybe $2 is not adequate. And so we have a minimum that we share for ourselves, but we also need to do our due diligence before we travel to see what is appropriate protocol.
Yeah, the cultural aspect is very, very important.
Yes.
Yeah. So what else? We only have about 2 minutes. So what else is important to share with us about it?
You know, first of all, I just want to appreciate you for what you do for the community and the variety of diverse guests that you bring on. This is the second time that I've been on your show, and every time becomes more pleasant than the other. I am just wanting to be an advocate and a role model for the University of St. Martin and the University of the Virgin Islands. I want people to see the effects and the promise that my president is guiding the university in, as well as the board. And I've always said this, and I'm going to say it again, I want individuals on this island to take advantage of the motherland university that they have, and to take off the glasses that they've worn for the last 10 to 15 years. Go down on Front Street, buy a new pair of glasses. I don't care how much you pay for them. Put on a new set of glasses and start giving the university a new opportunity to see them different. We are dedicated. We are committed. We're doing innovative programs every other week, and we want you to see how much we appreciate you. So before sending your child or your student abroad, take a look at us first, see what we have to offer. Out of every 3 students that go to Holland, 2 of them come back. Give us a shot, let us do the foundation. And then if you decide that you want to send them away, they have received your support, you're close to them, and then we can prepare them to go to the next level. But don't overlook us and just go directly to Holland or some other areas in the United States. But give your motherland a shot. We're here, we're dedicated, and we love the people of St. Martin.
And you know what? It's also better for the child, and it's cheaper for the parent.
Absolutely. And with that being said, we want to make sure that the community also knows is that we take pride in our faculty, and we will be doing faculty training continuously. We already have invested in it. And so the education abroad cannot be looked upon as better than, but looked upon as that we have individuals that are intelligent here too, that can educate young adults to a level of high promise on the USM campus.
And you also do a radio program?
Yes, I did a radio program on SOS 95.9 for about 90 days. And I have to tell you, Mr. Gibbes, it was wonderful. I talked about women's issues. I'm also planning to write a book next year, and that book is going to be called Women Winning at Life. And the book is going to be delivered not in chapters, but Dear Sister. And it's going to talk about subject matters that they should work through. So it's a very intimate book. But I took a sabbatical from the radio station because SCELL is growing in leaps and bounds. And as a person like you who understands the professionalism of doing something thoroughly and doing it effectively, you have to look at your plate and go, I don't want to do things haphazardly. So I want to do them right and to the highest level possible.
You focus on SCELL now.
So I've taken a sabbatical. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to go back, but I am focusing on SCELL and changing the lives of the St. Martin community.
All right, so again, high season 2016, right?
I love the way you say that. High season 2016.
We always look forward to the high season in St. Martin.
Exactly.
That's when we make money.
Absolutely.
And Dr. Gittens, thank you, and much success, all right?
Thank you very much.
And that's it for now. See you next time right here on our All Gibbes Live. Until then, good night, take care, bye.